Good morning, moms. Hey, I wanted to tell you, Marvin's going to wave over here. There's coffee over here if you want to get some coffee. And we're going to serve breakfast in just a few minutes, and we're so happy you're here. We're going to sit around the tables. There's 4 at a table, and we'll get started in just a little bit. So I'll let you know when breakfast is ready.
Follow you? Okay. Testing, test 1, test 2, testing, test 1, test 2, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They won't be talking.
No. Yeah, that's And then I'll have my mask down too, right? Because I'll be up there. Yeah, so it'll help. Yeah. Rod is with the D? Ron. Okay, all right. Awesome. Ron, Logan, and Sam. Nice to meet you all. It's Geronda. Yes, nice to meet you all.
Moms, breakfast is ready if you want to go through the line. Breakfast is ready. Let the guys know if you're non-dairy. They have non-dairy eggs if you need non-dairy.
Jesus
every chain. There is power in the name of Jesus. And there is break every chain.
Good morning, moms. While you're eating, I just want to tell you a couple of things. Registration is now online for next year, so we'd love for you to register for next year. And this weekend, on Saturday night from 6 to 6:30, you can drive by the front parking lot, and we have an awesome Mother's Day gift for everybody. Or you can pick it up on Sunday morning if you attend church here during the services. So we hope you'll come and be honored as a mother. And I have a quick video for you about mothers. It makes me want to cry. I want to cry because you're here. I'm so glad you're here. What we'd like to do now is we want to play a game, and I know some of you are still eating, but we need to have 4 people at a table, and I promise it won't take very long, and then you can go back and finish eating. So if you'd fill in the seats that are up here, like this table's full, we need one person to come sit here. We need one person to sit over here. So if you guys in the back there don't mind just moving real quick to a table, I promise this won't take long, and we got prizes. And then Pat will sit there to make 4. There we go. Okay, so someone on the table pick up the gold bag that's on your table. And you're the leader of the table, okay, if you picked up the bag. It's nothing hard. Okay, we're going to play left, right, center. If you've never played left, right, center, the leader is going to give you 3 little, they look like coins. Doesn't matter what colors they are. Okay, and then you have dice. And the dice have on them L, which means you pass your coin to the left. R, you would pass your coin to the right. C, it would go into the center. And if it's a dot, you get to keep it. The last person with coins, you only get 3. You only need 3. 3 coins is all you need. Okay, the last person at the table that has a coin left, you get to come up here and pick out a prize of your choice. Okay? So ready, set. So the person who picked up the bag starts. Ready, set, go. I think we have one table left that's still playing. Okay, I think everyone's done. Miss Kathy's going to go get her prize. I want to tell you one more thing. There's chocolate inside the yellow buckets. So if anybody needs a chocolate fix, there's chocolate right there. So please help yourself. Yeah, Kathy gets one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to open us up with prayer, and then I'm going to introduce our speakers. So please pray with me. Father, we're so grateful to be here today, and we're so thankful for these moms that were able to come. And we pray, Lord, that they'll be encouraged and inspired today by Joronda, and we're so excited to have her here. We ask, Lord, that you will use her to encourage and uplift us and to be ready for the summer. We ask that next September that just moms will flow into this room and we'll be able to minister to more moms. I ask that every mom in this room feel cherished and loved this Mother's Day, and I want them to know that we cherish and love them. We ask all this in your name. Amen. And I am excited to have Miss Joronda here with us. She was born and raised in South Los Angeles, navigating declining neighborhoods and gang violence as an honor student. She was a nationally ranked ranked track and field athlete before becoming an All-American collegiate athlete at Arizona State University. Joronda earned both a bachelor and master's degree from ASU. She's also a mental health trainer in suicide prevention, intervention, and crisis intervention. She also has 4 kids and is married. And I want to assure you, she's going to encourage and uplift us today. So you're going to leave encouraged, okay? So please warmly welcome Joronda.
Should I go up here? Oh, all right. Thank you.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yes. I'll put my phone up here so I know the time.
Are you okay?
I am. I'm going to take my mask down so I don't choke and swallow this mask while I'm talking. And it looks like we're ready to go. Well, I'm really excited to be here. It's been a while since I've been face-to-face with people to do presentations. I do a ton of workshops and presentations every year, and I don't really remember 2020. I don't really remember how we got here. We have no idea where we're going. But today, I'm just so excited because I didn't even realize, as I said, absolutely I can do this. I didn't even realize that Mother's Day was on Sunday. Like, that's just where my life is right now. I had no idea. And once I realized that, like, the night before last, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing that I get to spend this time with moms. In this year, I typically spend my days with hundreds of teens, trying to make sure that teens can learn to avoid the risks that are going to be presented before them, and supporting parents. So I'm kind of that person where I can be in front of a young person and I'm not their mom, I'm not law enforcement, I'm not a counselor, so I can pretty much get anything out of them that I want and then go back and tell their parents. And I love it, and I let them know that. So I'm gonna make sure that, you know, your mom and dad knows. I'm gonna make sure that the adults around you who are supporting you, who are protecting you, that they know, and they're like, okay. So I'm kind of like your spy underneath. But today we're not talking about those teens. I've now developed this new relationship with moms. And what I realized in this year as a mom myself is that oftentimes we're the ones who sacrifice, 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 and don't think about ourselves first. Not that it's a problem not to think about ourselves first, but to never think about ourselves first can become a problem. And so I wanted to kind of spark this, put this little gem out there that says to you, it's okay to think about yourself first, and hopefully get a little bit of recharge going in here. So we're going to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane in order to do that, in order to look at why we need to recharge, where we are in our recharging system, and where your battery is. Are you low? Do you put it on the charger every night? Like, where really are you? And I'll let you get to know me a little bit more after that. So I had a story that I was going to tell you all. So it was, I don't know, some weekday in March in 2020. I don't remember which day of the week it was, but I know it was March because we had recently been told that we needed to go home and stay home. And I didn't really have a problem with that, but then they said that my kids needed to stay home too. So it's like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. And I find myself leading meetings online, and on this particular weekday, I am in front of my computer, I'm leading a meeting, and developed a skill that I never even knew that I needed. My child is probably on his, I don't know, 6th snack within 2 hours, and he needs to invade my Zoom session. And I developed this ability to completely stiff arm him and hold his face at bay while I finished my sentence, and no one on the meeting knew that I had a child in the palm of my hand. Right? Never knew I had that ability, but I'm like, wow, I'll take it with me, right? So that became one of many stiff arms. And that ability to be able to manage what was happening with work for me and what was happening with the kids became something that I never knew that I would be able to do or be confronted with. But the thing about it is, being a mom, like, we have superpowers. And we have superpowers that you don't even know that you will have until you're a mom. We'll talk about what mom means to you. But today what we're going to do is we're going to look at these people called mom, and who are they and what are they. We're going to look at what we've done in the last year. We'll take a look at how we're going to keep going. How are you going to keep yourself ticking? How are you going to keep your battery charged? We are going to learn this practice of connection. Many of you may be very connected with your family and your kids, maybe yourself, or maybe you just need to be in the practice of it today. And so we're going to do a little bit of practice on that. And then we're going to also kind of end with, what are some of the challenges with recharging? That could sound like it's on a down note, but that's actually an up note. What are the challenges? Because it's important to know. If you don't know what you don't know, you can't fix it. I always say that to people around me. If you don't know what you don't know, you can't fix it, or you can't change it. But if you know, well, then I can do something about it, right? So it'll end on an up note. All right, so who am I? Again, I'm Geronda Montaño, and I have been in the field of prevention for 18 years. And in that time, I've seen thousands of youth, thousands of families, thousands of risk in different communities, not just here in Arizona, in California, where I originally come from, across the world, as I've traveled across the world and been in communities where I have no idea how I got there, because there was no bus that got me there, but I somehow ended up in the Shaolin Mountains, lost with my husband, to points where people invited us into their homes just because they were like, well, this is curious that you're walking through here and we've never seen anyone that looks like you. So I have had the opportunity to be among so many different types of families, and I just enjoy people and learning and being with people and being able to offer myself as a service to people. And I think it's just kind of my gift. I didn't ask for it, it's just what I have, and I appreciate the opportunity that I get to continue to use it. And so whenever I get the chance, I do that. I'm a wife and a mother. I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and I will tell you that boys express themselves through hitting and drop kicking. And my kids range in age from 5 to 13. The girl she just turned 8 the other day. She's sort of in the middle. She's the sweetest, quietest little thing, and she has these boys who are always like, I love you, with a drop kick, to other people. So then she has to sort of find her way in there until she's kind of had enough. She'll be fine as she gets older. An empowered woman, I love it. And then I also have 60 athletes that I have some mothering over. I coach both high school and club track and field. And so that's a picture of me. Shot put was not my event, but 2 years ago, I told my athletes that I would go ahead and shot put. I coach throws, I coach discus, shot put, hammer, and javelin, as well as running, but that's kind of the easy part to coach. Throws is a challenge for me, and so I got in the circle to throw myself, and this is just a picture of me doing one of those challenging things that I told my athletes I would do. This is up at NAU in the Sky Dome. And if you want to shot put, you absolutely can, like right now, if you'd like to do that. You really can. So after you're out and you're ready to be out, you totally can go shot put no matter what age you are. All righty, so I just gave you kind of like my rundown of mom and who I am as a mom. Give me an idea of what is being a mother? How do you define mother? Don't speak at once. But nurturing, okay. Protector, I love that word, yeah. Patience. Who said that? Be careful what you ask for. Patience. It will be tested, right? Any other ways you would define mom? Yeah.
Teacher, coach.
Yes, teacher, coach. And I love that term of coach. It's one of the terms that sometimes gets left out when we think of parenting, but it absolutely is a coaching opportunity, and at some point should be a coaching relationship, because if you have a kid who's been coached by someone, they are waiting for their coach to tell them the things that they've done wrong. But if you tell them something they've done wrong, how dare you, right? So I'm not your mom today, I'm your coach. Can I coach you on that? I have to often ask my kids that. Can I coach you on that? Yeah, because they're confused, right? They know what coaching is. Great, let me step in and give you a couple drills. So these are your definitions of mother. Also, when we define mother, we may not be talking about someone who has brought a child into this world through a birthing process, right? There are so many different moms. And when we look at the number of moms in the US, 85.4 million moms in the US. There's like 4.3 kids born every second. So how many kids have been born in the time that I've been talking, right? That's a lot of people to mother, right? In the US, these 85.4 million moms have really had to endure something over the last year. And collectively, we understand it as a mom. No one can be mom but mom. And it's a beautiful club to be a part of. It's a challenging club to be a part of. It has its benefits, it has its risks, it has its ups and it has its downs. But man, what other club could you be a part of that has 85 million members right here in your space, and you all get the opportunity to connect with some of those right here in your space. So really, like, every time you have an opportunity to be grateful for this, be grateful for it, because that will fill you up as well. So what have we done? I love this picture. This was some of my Zoom days, I think. You've got toys strewn everywhere. Mom sort of got on pants, I think, but she has on a shirt so that people on Zoom kind of knows that she's dressed for the meeting as well, you know. But the practice of momming during a pandemic had such a profound effect on us that 3 million women left the workforce. 3 million moms left the workforce between February 2020 and February 2021. And I was one of them. Making that choice, how do I make sure that my 5-year-old isn't laying on the floor Lego drunk because he can't take trying to learn to read on Zoom? How do I manage that and be confident that I can give what I can to an employer? I made a sacrifice, and that sacrifice is he's not gonna be 5 forever, and this won't last forever, and this too shall pass, right? We hope, right? We pray. So, yes. So leaving the workforce, it was, what you're seeing in the news is like women are just struggling, and sure, there has been struggle. These are just headlines from some of the big news producers out there. Working moms are not okay. Pandemic triples anxiety and depression symptoms in new mothers. Because if I'm isolated, I'm closed in a box and I can't get to other people, where do I get my help from? And help that I didn't even know that I would need, right? NPR said working moms are reaching the breaking point. He was 4, a 4-year-old in the palm of my hand. I thought I would break. Please don't show your hair and show people that I am stiff-arming you. They need to know that I have it all together, and as I'm smiling and the crying is going down the back of my throat, I'm like, I don't have it together, but I'm gonna finish my sentence because I'm leading this meeting. I'm at my breaking point. And he's like, I don't care, do you have any more snacks? And Yahoo News said, there's a mom who wrote an article, she said, I put my pandemic parenting experience on my resume, and you should too. Absolutely, when we update those resumes, I have skills that you wouldn't even believe that I have, and if I can do this for my home, what do you think I can do for you, right? So these are the things that we're seeing in the headlines, and we know that it has had a profound impact on us, and it has changed sort of the fabric of what we knew we could do. Like, we knew it, but it's not until you're put to the test. Who's ever had that first day of a workout? And you go in there excited, like, oh, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna work out. And 2 days later, you're like, why did I work out? All of this is hurting. You've had that first day of a workout, and it feels like, I've got this, I can do this, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, I'll never recover for this. But then 2 days after that, you're like, oh, I'm feeling better. I can actually move my arms a little bit, and wow, next year when I do that workout again, I'll know what to expect. Right? So there was a point in my life, for sure, where I felt like, oh my gosh, I am the perfect parent. And then I had kids. And I apologize profusely to every mom that I judged before I was a mom. Why can't she get her kids together? Oh my gosh, why are they screaming like that on an airplane? Oh, if you've ever been a non-mom on an airplane with moms with kids on an airplane, and I have 4. I have 4. But now I know. I am perfect. I'm made exactly the way that I'm supposed to be, and I am comfortable with that. You may not be comfortable with the way that I'm doing it, right? But you don't need approval from anyone else. That's one thing that you do not need. As a mom, you do not need approval from anyone else. You need to know you are doing the best that you can, and that is totally fine. Whatever that looks like today, we're having cereal for dinner, it's the best that I can. It's the best that I can right now. We call it free choice night because I can't cook right now. I can't get myself up to do it. I've given everything. My tank is empty. My tank is empty. It's okay for your tank to be empty, but we've got to fill it back up. It's not okay for your tank to stay empty, you know, like the car that stays in the yard. You're going to fix it. It just stays there. I'm talking about my husband. It just stays there. And one of these days, we're going to fix it. Now, you've got to fill up that tank. You've got to make sure that it's tuned up and ready to go and that you're tuned up and ready to go. So how do we do this? One of the actions you can do is create a culture of communication. So creating a culture of communication, I want you, with the people at your table, just kind of briefly chat about what are some of the things you already do right now to communicate that work well with communicating with your family, whatever family means to you. What works well right now for you? I'll give you like 60 seconds to do that. Okay, so I'd like for you all to share with each other because hopefully you'll see each other in other settings as well. And when we start to realize, oh, people do things similar to my house or people do things different from my house, maybe we can have a collective share of ideas and maybe we discover new things, try new things, or realize like, no, I'm in good company, right? What I'm doing, it seems to work in other places as well. I will tell you, in communication, toddlers and teens are very similar. Toddlers and teens are very similar, okay? So you have to potty train both of them, right? Toddlers, you have to potty train them. When they become teens, the crap just comes out of the different end, right? So when you are communicating with them, the communication can look very similar. When we get to that stage in our lives where we don't know that these teen years just hit us like a train, and our families are like, well, you're taller than me, you should understand how to do this, and this teen cannot literally chew bubblegum and walk because they're like a toddler. Having some understanding of what works in communication with those different stages in life is really important. And that's gonna be based on your kid, because no two kids are identical, not even identical twins. No two kids are identical. They may operate differently. With 4, my goodness, the pandemic has worked well for some of them, and for others, we're gonna have some work to do. But that's him, that's her, that's him, that's him. They are individuals, and as long as I can understand that I need to respect that, then we can move forward, and I can give him what he needs, and I know that he's gonna give me something different from him, from her, from him. So let's kind of go through what you can use to help to develop the communication. Let's think about 6 senses. I know that there's 5, right? There's 5, but we're gonna talk about a 6th one, okay? It's at the bottom of the list if you're cheating. So your senses, the 5 senses that you use, your sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, these are the things that you want to use to work on communication, to practice communication, to do what I'll call drills. I liken everything to sports. So to work on drills that will help you develop the skills in this area. So in communication, with sight, for example, anyone still keep photo albums? Not on your phone. Literally. Yes, you keep a photo album. Yes. Let me tell you, Walgreens is amazing for photo albums. You can also do them like through your Facebook, which none of your kids are on, right? If your kids are on social media, they don't even know what Facebook is anymore. But if you develop the picture books for them and give each of them a photo album, for example. A couple years ago, someone told me that they do family yearbooks. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is an amazing idea. How many times did you go through the photo album when you were younger? You saw the same picture over and over and over. You heard a new story, maybe each time you saw that picture, it introduced you to your family in a different way. Now, we love having it on the phone, but do you know how many phones I've changed and pictures I've lost over the years because I didn't change the picture with the phone or the new generation of the phone? So a photo album is one way to help to engage the sight, the things that they see, which is going to connect them to memories and help you to communicate with them. Just know, they don't know you as a teen. They have no, okay, so like you being a kid and a teen is like dinosaurs to them. Like they know it existed, but they've never seen it. So they don't really have the experience of it, right? So you literally have to take them through the museum. And so do it in a photo album. Do it in a photo. They don't know what you smelled like, what you dressed like, who your friends were, what you got in trouble for. They don't know those things. So use a photo album and take them through the museum. Sounds. Anybody in here like to sing? Anybody musical, play an instrument? Okay, so these are just quick little things that you could do to share with your kids. So now they have this new station here in Arizona. I just recently came across it. We do car talk in the morning. My kids and I do car talk in the morning, and we film it. This came after I would hide in my pantry and go live on Facebook because I just needed to have adult time. And that's turned into some other things. So we do car talk. And in car talk, sometimes I have the radio on with an older station, and I'm like, oh, this music that you're listening to, I've become that person, right? Your music, we can't listen to that. And then Tina Marie comes on, and I'm singing, and I'm like, no, we can't, we were listening to that? Like that? Okay, and I'm trying to change it to NPR or something, right? But the sounds that you remember, sharing those sounds with them, sharing songs that maybe were sang with you. I had the privilege of being raised with my great-grandparents. And so my great-grandparents have songs that I'd have to write the words down to them now, the lyrics, because they're not recorded, anywhere. And sharing those songs with my kids, it helps them to connect with family more, and you definitely want these connections to family. Touch, just doing gentle little touches here and there can be helpful. Now, if you have a kid who never ever wants to be touched, you trick them into it. You trick them into it. Let's play tag. Or when we get in the car, whoever gets in first and puts their seatbelt on first touches the other, right? You just start to incorporate a little bit of touch at different places if you have the kid who's resistant to it, or if you're resistant to it. I am not as much of a hugger as I am in person as I am in my mind. I think that I hug a lot, but then my 10-year-old is like, you don't give me enough hugs. And I'm like, I just hugged you. But his hug quota is not my hug quota. So I've got to up my hug game to help him out, right? But I wouldn't know that if he didn't tell me that. He would probably just, I don't know. If he didn't tell me that, I would just go around thinking that what I'm giving is enough, you know? So playing some games that help to increase, enhance, or at least give enough of the touch that is needed helps to create bonds. And so do that. And don't just do it with your kids, do it with everybody in the house. Do it with everyone in the house. It'll create like spontaneous smiles, and smiles fill you up. It fills up your tank. Taste. Anyone have a family recipe that you know you've got it down? You do. I see that smile. You have one? Yes, yes. Those recipes, it's important that they're passed down. So do your kids know them? Do your kids know how to make that thing? Or have they been privy to the process of making that thing that you so loved? I recently, thank goodness, thanks to YouTube and, I don't know, some site, somebody's blog, my great-grandmother, any random day would make rolls. Do you know the process for making sweet rolls? And she would just make it like on a Tuesday. It's a big process. It's a big process. You have to make it and then let it rise and then separate it and then let it rise again. Like, you're not having rolls for a few hours, right? And we couldn't get it. We couldn't get the recipe. No, my grandmother couldn't remember it. Her daughter couldn't remember it exactly, couldn't get it. And thanks to the internet and a mistake, I got it. And I was so excited. I was making rolls like, look, I'm gonna start at 8 o'clock in the morning so we can have some at 6, okay? Rolls and biscuits then became this thing for my kids where they're like, can I make the biscuits today? Absolutely, absolutely. And then I can share with them, this is what my grandmother looked like, this is how tall she was, this is what it would smell like when I would come in from school. And now they're engaged in my childhood and engaged in theirs. And it's just a beautiful gift to give. And that taste of those rolls now have a story to go with it, and it has a family history that goes with it. Share that with your kids. There's the art of cooking or being in the kitchen, it's sort of being rebirthed maybe by my soulmate, Pinterest. I love Pinterest. And we're starting to see a lot more of the sharing of these things. So do the same thing in your house. Do it live action. Share it in your house. Smell, the smells. I can remember what my kindergarten teacher smells like. If one of you smelled like her right now, and rare, I don't know what she wore, I don't know what it was. And when I was 4 or 5, she had to be like 70. So I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure I couldn't ask her, you know, like I'm not gonna find her on Facebook, I'm pretty sure. But I know what she smells like. And it was the smell of love. And that was her name, Miss Love. And I've been in a store and gotten a whiff of it and like, oh my gosh, that's Miss Love. And automatically the memories flood back. I remember her comforting little kindergartners crying who didn't want to leave their parents. I remember the huge blocks outside that you would make like giant cars out of. I was in kindergarten a long time ago, but that's what we did in kindergarten. And I remember her coming out and very gently and sweetly saying like, it's time to go in. That smell triggers all of that for me. So when we can connect our, oh my gosh, did you pull that baby out of the bag? Oh my gosh. So cute. I did not know he was sitting there. So when we can create that connection, it might be a cologne that dad wears, or it might be the smell of rolls when you walk in the house, or it might be what the bathroom smells like after you clean it. Having those conversations and maybe even sometimes playing a little, do you know what this scent is? If you've ever done that with like spices in the pantry, or you've ever done that with like different maybe oils, essential oils or something like that, those can help to create more bonds and create fonder memories. So at your table, what's a smell that you're very fond of that you've remembered for years? What's a smell that you're very fond of that you can remember from, let's say, childhood? Pick any time in childhood, and you can share it with the people at your table. You know what's another memorable smell for me? I don't know if I could recreate it, but it's butterscotch in the bottom of a pocketbook. My grandmother always had the little butterscotch, and it would be in the bottom of her, I think it's leather and butterscotch. I think that's the combination. But that smell, I could put my nose in her purse, and I knew she had butterscotch in there, and it had that smell, I think, of the leather and the lining. Ah. If I smell that, like it's just the weirdest combinations, right? But that would just put me in the, I love my grandmother. So sometimes it's not the things that you would find like in a fragrance bottle at a store, right? It's just the fragrance that's particular to your life. And that's what you want to create connections with your kids. What's the fragrance that's particular to your life? My kids for years thought that I didn't shower. And they would say that all the time. Like, I try to get them to go take a shower or a bath, and they were like, but Mommy doesn't shower. Why don't you shower? And I'm like, I do shower. Why do you guys always say that? Well, it was because I always showered after they went to sleep. Yeah, so that's my time. So they never saw me shower for like years. So they'd go to school, and they're like, my mom doesn't shower. So I don't know why she wants me to shower. I'm like, will you please stop telling people that? I do shower. But they like the smell of me the next day. And so I'm like, well, what do I smell like? I don't know, you just smell like Mommy. But if you think I don't shower, what is that smell? It's the smell of their life. It is the fragrance of their life. So if they smell day-old or hours-old shower after sleeping in a bed, maybe that will trigger for them fond memories of, I never wanted to get in the shower or the bath when my mom made me, and when I smell, that makes me think about I need to go take a shower or a bath, right? Hopefully it's a good fragrance. The sixth sense, intuition/common sense. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. This is one where you have the intuition. You want to make sure that you're helping them develop the common sense. It's not so common at certain ages. And I knew that when I told my son, who at the time was heading to 12 years old, preteen, right, heading to 12 years old, I said, can you make sure that you get the snacks ready for your brothers and sisters, and can you go wash the container of blueberries? He grabbed the container of blueberries out of the refrigerator. I go back through the kitchen, and he's washing the container of blueberries. The container. I said, son, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I'm washing a container of blueberries. I see that. Why are you washing the container? He was like, because that's what you said. Are you going to eat the blueberries? He's like, yeah. Oh, I get it. And I'm like, you get it? Sense is not always so common. To me, it made sense that you should open the container and wash the blueberries that are inside of the container. But I told him wash the container of blueberries, and that's what he did. He did exactly what I told him to do. And I said, you know what, I'm going to let you borrow my common sense for a few years because you're going to need it. So that's we're still on this loaner system. He's still borrowing my common sense. But what you want to do is help them with decision-making skills. So there's a lot of decision-making skills that our kids today don't get that kids used to get that would help to relieve some things for you. You don't have to be in control of their happiness all the time. They should have the ability to know what makes them happy, know what makes them smile, and you should know that they know what makes them smile. So have you ever asked your kids that question? What makes you smile? Like, you've seen them smile. You know what a smile looks like on their face, right? Sometimes they smile more than other times. Some years they don't smile at all. But do you know what makes them smile? When they smile, you smile. One of the hardest things as a mom is when your kid's not happy and you just don't know how to click them over to that other side to create happiness. And you want nothing more than for them to be happy. 3 million moms left the workforce. Why? For their kids. For their kids. Because I need to make sure that my kids are okay. It took me how long to get them here? I've been protecting them since before they knew what protection was. And I need to make sure that I'm protecting them in these moments as well. You don't have to be responsible for their happiness all the time, but developing some things that will help them to continue to contribute to their own happiness is important. So, what makes your kids happy? Share that with your table. What makes your kids happy? That's my kids. Love it, love it, love it. So with intuition, you kind of have this feeling, you know when something's different with your kid. Like, you know, right? And you can ask them, hey, what's wrong? And what response will you get? Nothing. My response back is, that's not true. That's how I always respond. So I'm like, you can say, that's fine, you get a pass, you can say that one time, and that's not true, so let's start again. Do you need something? Now, what they don't understand yet is that I have intuition. You could be around the corner in the house somewhere, and just by the sound of the house, I know, something's not right. Yeah, something's not right. Yeah. And then I'll say, don't do that. How does she know? Right? I can hear that around. You know I can hear you, right? Get off of that. Because I know that that's the couch. Right? But there's also this gut feeling when something's not right, like as they get older, and as we've been all experiencing this pandemic, and we've seen lack of motivation, we've seen lack of ability to self-start with our kids, we've seen some declines in socialization, some declines in grades, we've seen so many things that have turned a different corner from what our expectations were. And there's just this feeling of, I don't know that I can fix it. I don't know really what it is, but I know that there's something there, and that, always follow your gut, but let them know that that's what you're doing. So this is where coaching comes into play as well. So you didn't know what a mom was, like you knew who your mom was, but you didn't know what a mom was until you became a mom. Like, how do I know these things? And my kids will say that to me all the time, like, how do you know that? Like, it's a mommy code, I can't tell you, but when you, well, some of you will be moms and some of you won't. 3 of you won't be moms, 1 of you will. So you guys will never know, but you will, sweetie. So just know that there is this gut thing that I have that tells me, I need to dig a little deeper. I need to spend a little bit more time with you right here, right now. So when you give me the nothing, I'm not just gonna stop there. So share that with them. I'm not going to just stop there. And why? That's for my self-care. Because I was told by my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my mom, that you never stop worrying about your kids. You always wanna make sure that they're okay. And so that feeling of, I just need to make sure that you're okay. Like, have you ever gotten a call from your mom? I get a call randomly from my grandmother, and she's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I was thinking about, I had a dream about you. And I'm like, please don't dream about me. Please don't dream about me, because what did you see in the dream? And she's like, well, I just thought that I should call you. Don't tell me that, because now I'm gonna be worried about me. There's just this gut thing, but they need to know that you have that. They get to an age, teen years, right, where it's like they want independence. You want them to have independence because they're not gonna live with you forever. They don't know that, okay? They don't know, like we know that. I don't want you to live with me forever, but they don't really know that. Time is not the same for them. Please share that with them. That's self-care for you. I need you to understand I'm on your team. And if you allow me to be on your team, that helps me. And when I have these gut feelings, explain what a gut feeling is. What does that feel like for me? Couldn't quite go to sleep last night. You were on my mind, no matter what age they are. Now the 5-year-old, they're like, oh, mommy, you know, I'll put you to sleep, right? The 13, 14-year-old is like, oh, mommy, go to sleep, right? But you still need to make sure that they understand what that experience is for you. And then, and I'm staying on this slide for a while, because these 6 senses, if you don't remember anything else today, remember this. These are keys to connection. These are keys to communication. The common sense that you want them to have, they have to be able to make decisions to develop that. So he took the blueberries and washed the container. He's never done it again. He understands, now I need to open the container of blueberries to wash the blueberries. And he heard me tell that story so many times, so now he's like, oh my goodness, yeah, because it's a lesson every time. Now you'll never do it again. You'll open the container each time, right? And the 5-year-old is like, that was ridiculous. It's okay, honey, it's coming for you too. You'll do the same thing. So you want to give them the power to make decisions, because that helps you to know that you're doing your job, you've done your job, and you can continue to coach them. They're not gonna do it perfectly. They need to know that you don't do it perfectly and you didn't do it perfectly, but we do what works for us. Here are the guidelines. When they know the guidelines, they know the rules, they play by the rules. But if they don't, they will go outside of the boundaries, and they may test it to see, is there truly a boundary there? And if you don't put up a strong boundary with your expectations of, this is what I need from me, as your mom, this is what I need. If you don't put that strong boundary up, they don't know where to stop. And so they'll just go until you say stop. But they care about when and how you say stop. Give them the ability to develop common sense. Common sense is not so common, it is trained, it is coached. Effective communication, when we're doing this, now I could have said, what in the world is wrong with you? Are you kidding me? You're wasting water on a container? And I probably did say that, but effective communication has a couple of elements that could help with that. Now, I'm not gonna stand here and judge the way that you say it, but you know what works well for you and what doesn't work well for you. And there are some times when I don't say it in a way that works well for them. It worked well for me because now it felt good. I got that out. Now I'm gonna come back and apologize. I'm sorry that I was like that, but you got it, right?
Now let's have a real conversation about it, right? And coming back and being able to say, you know what, I'm human too. Like, I have a breaking point. I have these things that get on my mind and I can't get them off. I have emotions. I'm not emotionless. You know, as a mother, I am human. I know I'm superhuman, but I'm human. Because they do see you that way as well. Like, you can do anything. You can make anything taste good, look good, sound good. You can make those things happen, and they love you for it. So effective communication, though, is a skill worth practicing. And in that on the small side, what you see there are 4 elements to that. There's verbal cues, there's nonverbal cues. The majority of communication, if we had a pyramid here, the majority of communication is not what you say. It's what you sound like and what you look like. So the tip top, just 7%, is what you say. How many times have you said, "Did you hear me?" Are you listening? No, they're not. They're watching your facial expression and they're watching your body language. That's why they wait for the right moment to ask you, can they do that? And if they have siblings, they're going to send the one who's most likely to get the yes, right? Send the little one in this time, right? Is she in a good mood? I don't know. Did you see her when she came in? I don't know. Did she get a snack? I don't know. She's sitting on the couch. Okay, you guys want to go? You want to see? Who's going? No, I went last time. You go this time, right? That's what they do, right? They are watching your nonverbals. Your nonverbals, your body language, and your tone is also a nonverbal, which you do the same thing to them. Help them understand that. Effective communication goes both ways. So what is effective communication? It's a receiver receiving the message the way that the sender intended for it to be received. That's effective communication, point blank. So have you ever been in a situation with your kid where, well, I don't even know who you have as kids. How many of you have toddlers? Yes, raise the hands up high. Warriors, yes. How many of you have like younger kids, which would be like 1st through 3rd grade? Yes, okay, I should probably raise my hand for every category. How many of you have upper elementary kids, 4th through 6th grade? Okay, oh, I'm in good company. I see multiple hands going up, same one. How many of you have teens? Okay, how many of you have young adults? Yeah, how many of you have anyone 25 to 30? Boys, 25 to 30? Okay, so, ooh, you're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost, brain development, boys tend to have half a brain by about age 15. True, it's a true story, yeah, yeah. So a fully developed brain for a boy typically is around 30, typically. It helps. So there are things that help, definitely. Those opportunities for decision making, the opportunities to do things that allow them to use those skills that you've been teaching, it does help. It doesn't mean that every guy is not gonna have a fully developed brain until 30. And it also, girls typically around 11 has half a brain, and around 22, she has a fully developed brain. But that's not the case for every girl as well. Sometimes you have very mature girls and you're like, wow, you really seem very mature for her age. Sometimes she's the oldest and she's had to step up, right? And so there are different factors that contribute to that. But as I get back to here and being effective in communicating with them regardless of the age, those verbals and nonverbals, but active listening and passive listening. Passive listening, really easy. Passive listening are just the yeah, really, oh, mm-hmm. That's passive listening, right? So I teach this to the kids. Teach this to them so that, your kids, so that you know that they're not trying to get smart with you when they use it because you taught them, okay? That make sense? So active listening, I'll say it again. Active listening is them repeating back to you what they heard you say so that you know that you were clear. How many times did they say? 9,500 times you get your name called in a year? How many people have 2 kids? Okay, multiply that. 3 kids? Multiply that. 4 kids? 5 kids? No 5? Okay, so we're winning with 4, right? Times 9,563 times that you hear mommy. I literally go off duty. I am off duty right now. Do not call, my name is Martha. Don't call me mom. Don't call me mommy. My name is Martha. I don't want to hear mommy for the next 20 minutes, please. With active listening, they give you back what they thought you, what they understood you to say. You don't have time in your life for misunderstandings. You might have disagreements. You might have disagreements with the things that you expect. They're not going to agree with everything. They should understand what your expectations and your guidelines are, and for you, for your peace of mind, for you to be able to take care of your health, mentally and physically. You set those guidelines, you set what you need, and you make sure you got me, you understood me, they repeat it back to you. So you can't go hang out with your friends after school, you have to come right home. And the kid says back to you, okay, I can't go hang out with my friends, I have to come back home. My grandmother would have been like, why are you copying me? But if she taught me to do that, then we have an understanding. I just want to make sure that you knew that I heard what you said. That's it. And being in the practice can be a little weird in the beginning, but when you get in the practice of some of these things and you shake off the weirdness in the beginning, then it just becomes second nature, and it becomes that effort to just make us better. This works for our family. I just want our family to operate in a way that works for us. And if that doesn't work for you, move on to the next thing. You're not held to it. You don't have to do it. All right, so let's put a couple more things in your connection toolbox. That was all about communication. Let's put a couple things in your connection toolbox. We're going to look at just 6 important areas to connection. So this is kind of like a bingo board, sort of, right? Or like a, what do you call it, tic-tac-toe, sort of? I think we're missing 3, a line. Anyway, so some of the things that you want to do to connect, like as you're moving into the summer, the kids are going to be back at home, right? They're going to be back at home. I've had the ability to be at home most of the time now without my kids all the time. And boy, when they have to come back home, myself and the Wi-Fi are like, are you kidding me? Because with 4 people trying to get on Wi-Fi for a school day and work, the 5th person, me added, and please, my husband, please don't come home, right? Just leave us be in the school setting. It can be stressful, it can be challenging, right? But summer comes, depending on the ages of your kids, and it looks like we have a lot from toddler to upper elementary. That's the majority of who we have in here, right? We can see that that time spent in the house again could be stressful or it could be productive. So here's some things that you can do. Movement. Movement's really, really, really important. It doesn't have to be a full workout. You only do that once a year, so don't worry about that one. You got that one next year, right? So the movement, just something that can get you up and going. Did anyone spend more time taking walks around your neighborhood during the pandemic? Right? I never saw my neighborhood before. Right. And I grew up in a neighborhood where I go home now, and that's my neighborhood. And I know that neighborhood well. I walked it so many times. I don't know my neighborhood here like that. So after the neighbors started to see it, we literally walked to school every day. So we would leave the yard, walk around the corner, and walk back, and we're at school, right, in our own yard. And we had to go live with it because this was for me, not for them. But just getting out and moving, whether that be hiking or playing catch or just getting up and doing something and not sitting down. I accomplished something. I'm going to share with you guys because I feel like you guys are my friends now. I accomplished something that I had not accomplished ever, even as an athlete, as my coach wanted so badly for me to gain weight, to put on more weight for a particular event. Couldn't do it, couldn't do it, couldn't do it. I texted him a month ago. I said, Coach, you know that weight that you wanted me to gain? I got it. I got it. I said it took me 20 years, but I got it. And he was like, girl, because I wasn't moving as much. Didn't have all of these things to go out to and go back and forth. The little bit of movement makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. So get up and move. Affirmations. Affirmations might be like, I got this. That may be what you all say before you separate to go into bedrooms, to go into other people's houses, to go to school and work, whatever. Something that is, this is just our thing to make sure that we know that we're on the same page when we leave each other, okay? Gratitude and forgiveness. Showing gratitude. Now, gratitude is something that will fill your cup up. Just being grateful for the things that we have in life. Sometimes that comes in the form of just eyes open and saying it out loud. Sometimes it comes in the form of a prayer. Sometimes it comes in the form of like at dinner when we're just all sitting at the table and we're just gonna go around and say, you know what, I'm grateful for this. Sometimes it comes sporadically, like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that that happened today. Wherever it comes, make sure that it's a part of your life. Gratitude is so incredibly important, and it's incredibly important to teach the kids that they need to be grateful. I tell my kids all the time, you are so ungrateful. I do. I'm bad, I know. I tell them all the time, you guys are so ungrateful. You have food to eat. And they're like, I know, and there's a lot of people who don't have food, but that is a real thing. And they're like, yeah, okay, Mommy, I know, we're gonna eat it. Are you grateful that you have it, though? I want you to be grateful. But then explaining to them why the gratitude is important gives them some buy-in, gives them some value. And then you also be grateful. Well, I'm grateful that I can provide you this meal. I'm grateful that I can take you to school, drop you off. I'm grateful that I have 4 kids, even when it's stressful. And even when I get very upset with them, I tell them, you know what? You guys get on my very last nerve. That one that's right here, that's just about to, that last one, you get on that last nerve. And I love you. I am so grateful you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Let's hear the opposite. Because how often do people, kids especially as they get older, how often do they hear the things that they're not doing right? How often do they hear that, right? And if you kept score, how often do I tell them the things that they're doing well, as opposed to the things that they're not doing right? You didn't pick up your socks, you didn't flush the toilet, why is your towel on the floor? Like, all of these things, right? Showing them not only the gratitude, but forgiveness, and not only for forgiving them, but forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself. Be easy on yourself. Ladies, be easy on yourself. You created this opportunity for people to be thriving, whether you birthed that child, and if you birthed that child, that's like superhuman, right? Or if you're raising that child and another child and many other children and affecting their lives, forgive yourself for the things that you don't do that you think are perfect. Forgive yourself. You don't need the approval of anyone else. All you need to do is approve of yourself, and it goes a tremendously long way. Take time to engage with them. So do you know how to work Snapchat? Do you know what the most popular things are on Instagram? Do you know what Discord is? Yeah. Let them teach you. Let them teach you. And then tell them how you used to have to go to the payphone and use money to call your parents, right? Or call them, collect, and just say really quickly, I'm on the corner and I need you to come pick me up before, because you couldn't find 2 dimes, or you didn't have 2 dimes because you spent it on that last little thing, right? They don't know that about your life. I'll tell you who still has a payphone, LAX. There is still a payphone in LAX, and my kids walked past it and was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's a payphone. A what? I was like, it's a payphone. What is a payphone? I was like, what is a payphone? That blows me away when they see things and I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't even know what a phone with a cord is. Amazing. Take them to the museum. Take them. Involve friends, their friends and your friends. Their friends and your friends. Last night at my practice, one of my young girls is having a hard time, not motivated. Teen girls tend to get into this stage where, anybody have a female athlete? Yes, okay, so they tend to get into these stages where the motivation just kind of goes out the window. Boys get an uptick in testosterone, so they want to compete. But girls don't get that. Girls get something else, and they're usually ready to start nurturing and ready to start socializing, and the motivation goes down. If they can get over that hump, they may be amazing athletes and may have some amazing opportunities, and everybody is not going to be an athlete, right, forever. But I needed her to know, look, I've got you. I've been there. I know where you are. The rest of these coaches, they're men. They don't get it. They're not going to have the superpower that you have. But I get it. So I need you to plan something so that I can make sure that I have everybody in your corner, all of your friends. I'm not her mom, but I'm mothering her. I'm her coach. And so in mothering her, I gave her the opportunity to create something that she would enjoy, and I kind of get to control it. You can choose any kid on this team. Any kids on this team that you want. In fact, choose 20 of them. We have an array of kids. Choose 20 of them. And now I know who exactly is going to be in the space because I spend 4 days a week with them, and her mom's going to be comfortable with it because she also knows that she spends 4 days a week with them. Involve their friends. That's my example as a coach. But as a parent, do you know your kids' friends? Did I say that correctly? Not your friends' kids. Do you know your kids' friends? Do you know your friends' kids? That might be the connection as well. So involving their friends, it's a currency. Friends, friendship, connection, it's a currency. In the beginning of this thing, we said, oh, we have to be socially distant, socially distant, socially distant. It was wrong. That was a misnomer. Not social distance. That's not what we were looking for. We were looking for physical distance. Physical distance is not the same thing as social distance. We are not intended to be isolated creatures. So that socialization is really important. My 8-year-old daughter just had a Zoom sleepover. I got that from a middle schooler. I was like, run that by me again? A Zoom sleepover? So how do you do this? Now my daughter's in 2nd grade and they had a wild night. They were out by 10. 10's late. That's late for the 7-year-old turning 8, right? But that social, the next day, the other 2 girls, they couldn't keep their mouth closed about it to their mom. That socializing just filled them up. Okay, so who's gonna plan a Zoom sleepover between you and your friends? Yes, do it. Don't be afraid to do the things that made you smile when you were 13, 14. Well, for some of you, you probably shouldn't, but the things that you enjoyed when you were 13 and 14 that made you smile, those things will still make you smile. You're still you. And you're still that 13-year-old girl. She just grew up to be this amazing woman that's sitting in front of us, right? But she's still in there, that 13-year-old girl who loved those same things. Set boundaries. If you need to be off, I told you, I have off hours and my name is Martha, not Mom. So my kids know if I go into the pantry and I close the pantry door, my husband put a lock on the inside of the pantry for me. If I go into the pantry and I close the door, I just need, I'm on break. I just need a break for a minute. Please don't come banging on the door. Please, the refrigerator's there. You can be self-sufficient for 7 minutes. You're good. And it's okay for you to do that. Set your boundaries. You know what? On Tuesdays, that doesn't work for me because it doesn't work with my schedule. You know, I'm going to allow you guys to choose what we're going to have for dinner because every Wednesday we go through this thing, and I'm going to let you guys do it. You're capable. That's decision making. That allows them to have it. Now, cooking it depends on the age. Some ages you want them to cook for themselves and you. Some ages, please don't touch anything in the kitchen, right? So allowing them to foster that independence, that fills you up. And it lets you know, hey, I'm doing this thing, and I'm doing this thing well, and I'm doing the best that I can. All right, so what are the challenges going to be to recharging yourself? So I'm hoping that some of the smiles and giggles and laughter that you got in here today, I'm hoping that that filled you up. My intention was to get you high while we were in here. And what I mean by that is when we have like an intoxication or we get this thing that's called high, there's a couple of things that goes into that. One of the big things is dopamine. So your brain is going to release dopamine, and that's where the smile comes from on your face, like the authentic smile, right? That's the dopamine that's flooding through. How many of you like chocolate? Anybody like chocolate? Oh, lots of hands went up, chocolate. You know what? That became my thing as a mom. I did not like chocolate before I had kids. I think it was like, you will have chocolate now. I don't know, I did not like chocolate. And then all of a sudden I was walking past a candy jar at work and I was like, wonder what that tastes like. It was like I was drawn to the chocolate, and now I'm like, yes, please. I like this. I like chocolate. I don't like the chocolate, it's the dopamine. It is the dopamine. It's that feel-good feeling that goes through my brain and my body that says, like, you know what? This little break feels good to me. So my intention was to get you high this morning and have you smiling, get that dopamine going through your body so that you can remember what it feels like to spontaneously just smile and feel good. Do you know what makes you smile and feel good? Do you know what type of breaks you like to take that make you feel like, you know one for me? Sitting in the front seat of my car and sneaking a snack so that my kids can't see it and putting it in my mouth. Oh, they have ears like, and my 5-year-old's like, what's that? Nothing. No, you have something. Mind your business. So the thing about recharging is it takes some time. So you've got to take time. You've got to take time for yourself. Take the time. It needs your attention. To recharge yourself, you have to pay that attention. Anybody have a sleep routine? No? Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to give you. So I developed so many skills during the pandemic. I became a micro farmer. I love my micro farming. I made that one salad and it was over, but it was amazing. Micro farming and just a little takeout dish, the little plastic ones, I just put the micro seeds in there. It grew beautifully, beautifully. And I was so proud of myself. And that salad was teeny tiny, but it was mine. And it was amazing. And now I know that I can micro farm. Amazing. It needs your attention. So pay attention to your recharging. If you set your phone, you take the time to recharge your phone every day. Recharge your heart. Recharge your spirituality. Recharge your freedom. Recharge these different areas of wellness in your life that will make sure that you're filled up. And creating some balance for yourself. When you're doing this, you can realize like, oh, there's some areas that I'm doing well in and some areas that I'm not. So then just keep recalibrating it like an equalizer. We tend to focus, oh, this is the wrong slide, but we're going to keep going with it. We tend to focus more on how do I feel about myself. Like we tend to focus more on I need to be feeling good right now as opposed to the benefits in the different areas of our lives that need to feel good. And I'm going to show you in a second the different areas. And what is your history of actually taking care of you? That's going to make it difficult. If you have a less than stellar record or have struggled with just taking care of you, it may take you something. It may take you something to do that. But going back to number 2, paying attention to that will help to stimulate your activity in doing that. So if you haven't been focusing on yourself, here are 9 areas of wellness where you can start. So this is like a little equalizer, right? It's not filled in at all. So in these 9 areas, and I can actually, I don't know if you guys can get these, but I can send this slide. These 9 areas of wellness are what now have been established as the areas in our lives where we can be depleted or filled up. And you see as you go across the bottom that these are the areas. And there might be some that are tip-top for you. So career, for example, for me, back in September, career was very low for me. I was struggling because it was so hard to try to manage all of it. And so I said, I have to make a change for my well-being and for the kids' well-being, or I will live in the pantry if I don't do something different. And so now for me, being able to be here with you all at my leisure while my kids are at school and I'm going to be able to pick them up. I pick them up on the curb every day. That's important to me, for them to see my face on the curb. Even though they get in, where's my snack? He did this or that. I haven't seen you all day. Can someone say hello to me? But it's still important to me. It's important to me. Environment. Is my environment comfortable? Is it what I need it to be? My husband bought me a lounge chair for outside. Oh my goodness, I got so much sun last year during the pandemic. I tanned big time, let me tell you guys. And if I took this off right here, I have a huge, it looks like I have a mask on. Because I tan everywhere except for underneath this piece. And then when I take my scarf off, my family's like, I'm like, can you please, that makes me self-conscious, can you please stop looking at me like that? And they're like, that's just amazing, how did that happen? Because I've been on my lounger. And I know I need the vitamin D because the vitamin D is important and we don't get enough of that in Arizona where we have unlimited access to sun, right? Spiritual. I like to go to point out some of the things about spiritual because there are some things that we know that fit in that category, but then I'll go back to gratitude and I'll go back to giving. Those things also fit in the spiritual category. And if those things feel good, a lot of times as moms, we want to feel like we're contributing. We want to feel like we're needed. We want to feel like we can make a difference. It's just some of the things that we just naturally do that fits in that spiritual category. And that's why sometimes it can be difficult when kids leave home. They will leave home. They will leave home. They will leave home. Okay? They will leave home. And then you'll become an amazingly loving grandparents that your kids will say, you never did that for us. Right? you weren't that nice to us like that. Like, yeah, because you were mine, but these can go back home. So, but in that category of being able to be a contributor in a way that fills you up, that's important. So if you have this, and if you all took a picture, you can do this later. Where are you on the scale of each? The top is 100%. You may not be 100% in any of them, but are you balanced? Are there areas where you're like, you know what, that would really be, like creativity for me is a huge one. I love to be creative. So can I balance that and add more creativity? So in this, make sure that you're practicing your self-care. The thing about when you're taking care of yourself, you're more productive. You are less likely to get sick. I am so excited that I didn't get a cold or the flu this year. And every year for the last 4 years, between March and April, I got sick. Every single year. My voice is still kind of struggling, so I think my voice was kind of like, come on, bring it on. But I didn't get sick at all. I was much more relaxed. I invested more time in myself, which helped everybody, right? So you're in better physical health. You have improved self-esteem. You feel better about yourself. Like, I'm looking good today. Sitting on my Zoom with this beautiful sweater and no pants on. Right? You feel better about yourself. You have increased self-knowledge as well. Like, okay, I know what my breaking points are. I know when I need to be filled up. I know when I need to recharge. And I said that, oh, she walked away. The sleep routine. Don't fall asleep, go to sleep. Don't fall asleep. Go to sleep. If you've ever been like on a cruise or in a fancy hotel where they do like pullback service, you know, on the bed, and they put the little mint on your pillow, or they create the towels and the swans or whatever, do that for yourself. Like literally go and pull your bed back an hour before it's time for you to go to sleep. Dim the lights a bit so that your brain can start to relax, and so that your body knows that you're in a routine where you're getting ready to go to sleep. Turn your cell phones to do not disturb after a certain time. Just these little things, whatever your routine is. Drink some lavender tea. Just make yourself feel like I'm in a place. Take that straw that's amazing when boba comes up out of it. I buy those straws and keep them at my house because it puts me in a place where I feel like I'm doing something. Those straws cost like $2.49 for 20 of them, but they're my $2.49 straws that make me feel amazing. And now I have a water bottle named Dylan. Dylan, I didn't drink water well before, but Dylan, he's been so good to me. He has a filter in the middle. And when I don't have Dylan, I feel like I've done something wrong now. Dylan takes good care of me, whatever you need. Create some sort of routine for you that you know is gonna fill you up. And I'll leave you with this quote. If you were to take 1 week and calculate your percentage for time spent relaxing, what would your ratio be? Would you say you had a balanced life? So take that into consideration. And you totally can control that. Why? Because you're mom, and you control everything else anyway. So don't let it control you. You control it. You all are amazing. You are doing just fine. You are making it happen, and I am so honored to be amongst you and to have this opportunity to speak with you. And I'm going to turn it back over, and I'll just say thank you. Thank you all so much.
Joanna, thank you so much. That was don't you guys think that was such an encouraging message? So thank you so much. You are awesome. I'm a grandmother, and I took a lot out of what you said. So I hope all of you feel encouraged, and we will see you tonight.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Pat's going to draw door prizes real quick, and then we will call it a day. We will hopefully see you in September.
Okay, we got Gail Nelson. And here, I'm going to give these to you. We've got Candy Clark. There you go. Kim Bostrom. Angela Anderson. And Kelly Richards.